Sure. Shoot.
Okay. All right. First off, I want to say um, thank you for everyone who is in this guild. I have not been as active as I have been in the past, but I'll tell you, it is like blown me away. I hop in here and there's more people in this guild than in full blown community calls in other like DAOs I'm helping out with. Right. And so, really bullish on on what's happening here, and I think part of it is the timing. Late Friday, I'm so out of gas, I literally have nothing left in me. Right, so I just want to give a little context here. I'm my background is in enterprise agile coach, project management, and Web3 is really ignited my imagination on what does coordination, what does PMing, how does it translate to coordination? What's the vision there? And specifically, like having been pulled into so many projects where you're just endlessly churning to try to coordinate, is there a way to kind of do it in a way where it's less about trying to herd the cats and more about like putting out a can of tuna, right? Like proper incentive design, okay? And so I just want to real quickly, just in a few minutes, pitch everyone here on an idea that I've been thinking about and have even talked to some of you about, called Operator School. I'll share my screen here. Okay. And I'll share this document too at the appropriate time. The idea with Operator School is we're constantly trying to make the connection, like what is project management and Web3? Because here's the weird part. If we just get in here and you say, oh, we're going to teach you project management. Well, there are more qualified places you could learn that. You could go to freaking scrum.org. You could go to all these places and these professionals. Like, there has to be something unique about what we're doing in a Web3 context that makes sense. It makes sense for us to teach it. And it also makes sense because we're uniquely in a position to teach this new thing. All right. And also, what's the kind of the proficiency levels? How can we translate that in a way that's unique to Web3 folks? And the idea is this operator school where we say, hey, this is incubated, this is produced out of BDAO, this is coming from the PM Guild, and we encourage people to come in for a multi-month type boot camp on effectively Web3 project management, using something like a hierarchy like this. These would be the proficiency levels, right? There would be 4. The first would be contributor. How do you contribute in a DAO? DAO basics, scheduling basics, calendar management, Web3 concepts, identity, step people through, get your ENS, communication patterns, value, stuff like that, right? Level 2 would be coordinator. If the first is a B, level 2 is the beekeeper. Here we get into like actual managing of teams, Kanban, Scrum, flow and cadence, basic operations like running a coordinate circle, lean budgeting, utopia, right? Being a multi-signer, clarity, facilitation patterns, retrospectives, right? So we go from a B to beekeeper. Level 3 is full-blown DAO architecture. This is where you get into Hive design, incentive engineering, mechanism design, matrix orgs, team topologies, and this type of stuff, right? And then level 4 would be the summoner level. The idea is you can design a game, but if no one shows up to play it, then cool story. You actually need like, what is the thing that gets people to show up? That's where it steps into community management, lore, vision, and some of the basic primitives of like governance and growth hacking. And so the idea of this would be that, and this is just an idea, I'm just pitching everyone here, right? Is that if you have these general categories, anyone could put up and say, listen, I want to do a talk. I think it fits into architecture. And they can do a talk, and then that talk would be a slide presentation and also a lesson on Bankless Academy, like an evaluation. And we're good. We can have a subdomain on Bankless Academy, set that up. So basically come in, they attend the lesson, they participate, they also take the evaluation, they get a badge for both of those. Now, what makes this interesting is there's a platform called Rep3, which will literally custom design the badging, the automatic issuance, the leveling for us on Rep3 to make like this operator school possible. And one feature that they have, which is really interesting, is the idea of when you first come on, when you join and go through an onboarding, you get kind of this master NFT, and all subsequent NFTs dynamically update the first one to show your accomplishments. So you have this master pass that says, hey, I've done 3 at the level 1, I've done an architecture and a summoner. Basically, everyone who's come in and done a lesson, they've received the badge, and it automatically updates this top level master badge. And we don't have time to get into it, but there's something here where we can do. You can say, listen, you have to attend one of each level and then teach one of these to other people, at least 5 or something, right? And then after that, you're eligible to submit your own learning module. And so you end up with a system that perpetuates itself kind of indefinitely. You can teach one lesson, and in order to kind of get the ongoing reputation, you have to do more. And the whole idea on how this could be funded is at the end of the iteration, the 3-month, we would package up the modules that have been generated during that, put them out as an ebook, draft to digital. We already spec this out with the How to DAO book project, and all that money basically from the sale of that book would come back into the multi-sig, and we would distribute it to all the creators of those learning modules using 0x splits. It would be a full-blown split. So I will stop there. From the beginning and thinking through this, it's been completely tied to PM Guild and what we could do to educate and onboard and all that. I know you guys have done a lot here that I haven't been around, so not to step on anyone's toes, just putting this out as a discussion piece and something I would be very eager to see if you guys would have interest to move forward with or at least explore. Thanks.
Thanks, Justice.
Mhm.
So I guess I feel it's really interesting, and
Yep.
it mimics a lot thoughts that we had in the PM Guild also from the time that you have been regularly part of this. This makes a lot of sense. Is this actually what you wanted to discuss next week's Friday as well?
Yeah. But the thing is it was like a whole nother week to go by. I thought at least just to give the short and share the doc, and then it give people time to think rather than waiting a whole nother week,
Can you share the doc as well?
Yep.
That would be awesome. Cool. I need to think about this. And like you said, it's Friday evening.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like education, just to give you some feedback, Justice, because I know you were itching to get that out there. I like the idea, and I guess like the big thing for me is like, how can we, since it seems like such an upfront cost to build all of these educational modules and stuff. So like, what's the smallest possible thing we can do? Like, how do we agile this?
Well, the funny part is if we set the threshold and we say, listen, in order for the reputation, the propagation, like the rule, if we just say, listen, you have to attend 3 or at least 1 from each level, and then after that, you can teach this to another person, which will automatically be tracked using like the Rep3 type deal. And then you can submit your own module. Literally, we just need 4 people, not even 4 people, 4 initial modules, and the machine is running itself.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we initiated last week on our education work stream as well, where we said, well, then let's just start with one education module. And if I understand correctly, you're saying to be part of level 3, you have to teach level 2.
The thought is that the levels are less about really. These are more like you could only have interests at the coordinator level, or like for myself, most of my interest is at the architectural level. And maybe that's really the only area I go into from a let's see, I'll go up here. From the standpoint of like where people actually level, that's more like here, learner, teacher, creator. So the learner is like, you have to at least listen to 4 or 1 at each level. You have to teach 1, and then you can go in and submit new ones, you know?
Right. I really would like to get the link and then
Yep.
read through all of this.
Yep.
And then I think a really great starting point for the session next week is the question of links. Then how do we agile this? And I get your response. Makes perfect sense. And I would be super eager to deep dive a little bit more on this.
And some of the especially level 1 teachings are available at the Education Guild.
Yep.
Yeah, that can a little bit help.
One thing too that I think important here is that a lot of times a season comes and goes and a lot of great stuff happens, but like what is the big hitter? What's the output at the end? And that's where I think there's something to tap into from Web3 back to Web 2 in putting this out in a document, V1, like whatever it's called, How to DAO Volume 1, you know, in the next season, How to DAO Volume 2, because that produces inflows into this system, right? And then you have a real concrete, like all of our effort has resulted in this. This is not lost in Notion. It's not lost among the echo chamber of Web3. Like it's out there. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere, you know?
Right, at least I have to run.
Yep.
Again, thank you very much, everyone. Also, Justice, of course, you're open to continue jamming. Guys, take care.
Thanks, Renee.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry, I have to go too, but I do like the idea of an endlessly iterating document that just gets better the longer we work at it. So I'm definitely onto it there. But thanks a lot, Justice, and thanks everyone else for being around. I will see you later.
All right.
See you, Links. Justice, I just have a question here. For example, the Scrum, what I see first, is kind of a professional thing that kind of should be taught by professionals, right? Do you think so, or do you think we can do this inside of the DAO or something?
I would say this: I wouldn't attempt to teach anything unmodified material. It kind of doesn't make sense, right? But what I think is that there have been such few modifications to Scrum and Kanban. Okay, we can highlight a version of them that is very uniquely suited to the DAO context. So we can put something out that is very much our own, like DAO flavored type of thing that wouldn't just be a kind of a crappy copy. It would be like, this is some real thought leadership and reinterpretation of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense a little bit. I cannot see myself kind of doing that. So about that Scrum example, because I thought a little bit about over that, because I think Scrum should be something that PM Guild should be interested in teaching it, like using. Yeah. So what I thought was we have the Scrum org, and Cheap to Moon was the handle, I think. Joined us to talk a little bit. So what I thought was we can contact these guys and we can try to get some grants from the ecosystem to like scholarship, some education from them. So I don't know if we can modify Scrum and teach a modified DAO Scrumming around it, but I think scholarshiping some proper Scrum education can be, I don't know, something good.
Yeah, no doubt. And the neat part about this is we don't need to like have a canonical like predetermined and say, oh, this is, 101 contributor, you did all this stuff. Someone can come along after they've gone through our predetermined like requirements and then say, listen, I have a different take at this level and I want to present this lesson, and it go alongside in there. And so it's more of like, these are 4 slots that material can slide into that are kind of categorically different, but don't need to be comprehensively defined from the start, So there could be standard Scrum in here, and there could also be like a DAOified kind of version of Scrum that's slightly different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I kind of see and what we talked quite a bit in the guild was like creating a certification program, and this looks a lot like that. So that's why I think doing some things like that Scrum education no, not the education, right? The part where you take some Scrum tests are the important part around that.
Well, the way I see this is it can be twofold, right? You could say, listen, every single learning module in here, like retrospectives, right? There is a lesson, something you need to attend and participate, and then a sibling evaluation in Academy. And only by doing both of them, because both of them are issuing SBTs, unlock in your master badge basically the successful completion of that lesson.
And maybe even you can use the DAO to experience that also. Get the lesson, get the academy test, but then also at least do 2 retros, record them, and someone like the PM guild evaluates it and stuff. Can go way in a lot of ways,
Yes, one of the things in Rep 3 is this idea where you have these badges that you can apply to. You can go and you can say, listen, I did this XYZ, here's the link to it, I'm applying. And then a governance around like people saying, oh yeah, he did it, unlock it, then they get it, and then that kicks you up to that next level. And here's a crazy part too, the way these badges work is, the whole decentralized identity type stuff, Vitalik has always said there's 2 ways to do it. There's like the fiat way where like you have your identity and it's validated and you build reputation on that. Like you kind of bridge from your real identity to Web3. He's like, another way is just let the network testify to it. And the interesting part is we could, without even having a predetermined idea of like what constitutes a certification, if you just have your leveling of how much you've done in your master badge, that itself speaks, because it says like, look, this person has done 20 they've taught this, and then they've created 3 modules all in that master badge.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Like even people can check your badges, and like I'm looking for someone who knows retrospectives, and that's enough for me. I don't look for someone who knows mechanism design. I don't need that.
Exactly.
It's not that you have to graduate anything. You got your badges already, and you have the badges that you have done 15 retrospectives, and maybe even people just voted you that it's good or not, or commented on your retrospectives that you can follow on chain. Yeah, this is great. Can we work on that? Can I help in anything? I like this very much.
Absolutely. I shared the document in the chat thread here. Here's the thing, like Rep 3's like, we'll figure this out, we'll make this for you. Other people, I got a list down here, Catharsis from Aragon, Rallison from DAO Design Architecture, Meta Encom, Infinite Gwei, like a real thought leader, like Modern Agilists, we promote the junk out of this. Bankless Academy is an evaluation platform. There's like, I even presented this because Ethereum Adoption DAO is working with Ethereum Enterprise Alliance and the Ethereum Foundation. They're trying to do education for Ethereum, like what's the skill tree for Ethereum engineers. And when I described this abstract pattern that I was kind of working through, they said, listen, if this is a self-perpetuating pattern that does this badgification and vetting on learning modules, you just replace the skill tree with, instead of these levels, with a different set of levels, and the same pattern applies. So this is something where it's like it works for us as a as a operator school, coordinator school, but you can add a different subject matter expertise vertical here, and it works just the same. And there's already high interest, you know.
Yeah, great. I'll be on the link, and
Cool.
if you like, I don't know if you have any kind of work group around this, I would like to join. Maybe even just go to Bankless Academy and then see what's going on there.
Yeah. Right now, it basically what it was this week was talking to these individuals, and that's why I couldn't wait another week to talk to PM Guild, because everyone's like, yo, when's the weekly kickoff for the working group on this? And I'm like, listen, I got to talk to PM Guild. I thought it was going to be this morning. It's next week. I'm going to sneak it in because people are chomping at the bit. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the showing this.
Hey, thank you, Ray.
See you later. I have to
All right,
jump
I'll
off.
see you. Cool. I don't want to keep anybody, but if anybody has any questions or comments, happy to chat. Unless everyone else is a bot in the room right now.
Hello, I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Okay, I'm kind of new and I just have little knowledge on project management. So I'm wondering how can I learn to kind of make use of it. That's my sense of joining the guild, so I could learn and also see how to um, work with it in the Web3 space. So I don't know if the guild could assist or if there's anything that could be done.
At this point, I don't know exactly how to answer that. At this point, it's more like, okay, well, do these 4 categories make sense? Practically, how could this operate? And I think as the lessons get presented, or get like fleshed out on what they could or should be, there could be some real value there, because you're effectively one of the first quote unquote users where you're like, listen, I don't know that much about it, but the way this is being taught is very helpful or not helpful at all, or this other thing would make it better type stuff, you know?
Okay. Though kind of late, came in late. So how can I join? Are we able to gain access to it to join the class?
You know what? This is a good sign. Presenting it for the first time, you're like, listen, how do I join the class? Listen, this will be unpacked in PM Guild week over week. This is just the first pre-release, showing. And so just stay tuned in this group, and the details of this will be unrolled over time. Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments?
GM Yvonne.
GM Fred.
Yes. I kind of have a question regarding the bounty which I claimed say earlier this week. I think about 3 days ago. According to the bounty posted by Renee, I believe, it stated I should probably create a content which would address the basic project management knowledge and should focus on agile project management and specific needs of projects in the DAOs. So my question here exactly is, what exactly do I, because I've been having like conversations with Renee, and then I'm trying to figure out what exactly I have to present for, because I believe this is more of an educational bounty, and what exactly do I need to present? Because with the conversation I had with Renee, I did suggest to like give an education about the Kaban tools or tools like Asana, but he said links already made an education of sorts as regards Asana. So I was thinking probably I could just like try to do agile project management as a style, and of course, if people would want to like get to understand how the agile, what exactly agile project management is, the tools, and then how to like get to put it into work. I don't know if that is if I'm on the right path here. Could you just enlighten me a bit?
So if this is specifically about a bounty that you try to, I'm totally out of the loop on that. I couldn't answer that. So I've been uninvolved with this group for a long time. I'm just stepping in today for a couple minutes to flesh out an idea that may be helpful for on the education side. So sorry, I can't be more helpful in that.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you around.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice
See you,
day.
everybody.
All right.